I'm George Lane. I am the co-film festival director for Days of the Dead Film Festival.
Go George!
And I am here, and I got fortunate to get the most fun, twisted block of awesome comedy horror. So let's start right over here. Please introduce yourself and the film that you did.
Hi, I'm Desirée. I am the writer and producer and special effects artist of Dungeon of Death.
I'm Brian Rowe. I am the director of Dungeon of Death and special effects artist as well.
I'm Ben Johnson. I directed Curse of the Weredeer. Yes.
All right, I'm going to offer it to the crowd first. Anybody have any questions you'd like to ask about any of these films?
Oh, don't be shy. Okay.
In Dungeon of Death, where did you find those rats to use throughout your film? Because that was pretty cool, and I know that's like a hard thing to get like live animals into.
I was dreading. The only time I'd ever worked with live animals was way back in film school, and I got bitten, and I had to go get a tetanus shot, and it was horrible, and we got one shot out of a whole bunch of shooting. But the rats were the best. They were better than the actors, I'd have to say. They were so easy to work with. The rats came in and said, you know what? It'd be really cool if they would climb up on the top of that corpse's head, and then the rat would do it. It's like, do they understand me? So, but Desiree will tell you about how she got the rats.
Yeah, I just posted an ad on Facebook. It's like, hey, does anyone have a pet rat that wants to be a movie star? And I got a message back from a woman who has a rattery, so they breed rats. And she's like, yeah, I can bring a bunch over. So she came over with this tiny little carrier, and there were 4 rats in there, and she had like a little container of cornflakes. No, what was it?
Cheerios.
Cheerios.
And
And she's like, okay, I'll just put a few Cheerios in the straw there, and then they go over there, and they were awesome.
We did a special half day of shooting where it was just the two of us, the rattery person, and the DOP, so there wouldn't be a whole bunch of people on set. And so we let the rats roll, and I actually wore the boots and the pants for Raullin, so there was no other actor on set, and I was doing all the shuffling and all the, oh, forgot my tools kind of thing. So that was me, but it would be stuff like, oh, it'd be cool if the rats would run across the doorway, and they would just do it. I was like, I couldn't have asked for better rats. Like, this is, they take direction.
Go for it.
Curse of the Weredeer feels completely like the Troma movie.
It is.
Did the script which came first, the association with Troma or the script?
I've been low-key involved with Troma since the summer of 2000. So I went up as an office kid, and then life took me 1,000 different directions, and for like 15, 16 years I did anything but movie stuff. Went back for hashtag Shakespeare shitstorm, and then, yeah, right? Like, what a great film. But I went back for that, and that's where I met all of these kids. We made a trailer during the pandemic, during 2020, and we just wanted to make a stupid grindhouse trailer because they were doing Troma Dance as part of Tromathon in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. So we screened that there, and then everybody was like, oh, you can't show us this and then not make a movie. So we took the nugget that we had from that trailer, and I gave it to my buddy Jimmy, and I was like, write us a whole script, and we'll see what happens. And we took it to Lloyd and his assistant at the time, and he's been through 10 assistants since then. But anyway, that guy was a real advocate for us. A dude named Tom D'Amico. Lloyd read it, loved it. He'd already been the governor in our trailer, and then he was like, well, why aren't you shooting? You're not shooting yet. And nobody's fucking shooting anything. When does it happen? And so we got some money up, and then we shot. Yeah.
Perfect marriage.
I mean, listen, it couldn't have come out better. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like it's very funny because like there's a lot of flaws in it, and they're glaring upon like first viewing, 30th viewing, there's 1,000 more. Like, but we're done with it. We want to move on. Everybody's happy with sort of like what we were able to deliver, and boss says it hits all the Troma notes. The only notes that he gave me, best thing ever. If you work with Lloyd, he will give notes. He's very, very in depth. He did want us to add in some Squid Gamesy type fucking mask and stuff, and we were like, no, like that's probably not going to do that. But thank you. And then he told me early on. So the laundry tub is a family laundromat. Okay, so we're in there, we're shooting in there. I tell him early on, he's like, you don't have a production office. What are you doing? Where are the people going to go? What are they going to do? No, Lloyd, I got an office. Don't worry about it. I got a laundromat. You have a laundromat? Yeah. You got to kill a kid in a dryer. Is immediately what he says to me. You got to kill a kid in a dryer. You will never feel so fucking good in your life. You just stuff a fucking kid in a dryer. It's the greatest. Wouldn't let it go. Fast forward, we shoot. I don't have a child to put in there, but my best buddy had just had his kid, and like his kid, she's 2 months old. So I'm like, hey man, can we put your kid in this dryer? And much like you put the pants on, we had him put the arms on, so the only person touching his kid is him, you know. And much like your rats, do that. They say don't work with animals, don't work with babies. That kid didn't fucking cry. She didn't, there was nothing with this kid. She just smiling and happy. We put that dryer sheet on her, she starts to cry, and we're like, fuck, close the door. So we closed the door, we got our shot, and he's like, fuck, open the door, open it. And so we pulled the thing off, he gets her out, and then it's like 2 seconds later, just happy, googly-eyed little baby again. It was ridiculous. It was a perfect thing. So Lloyd watches the cut. He watches it. I get a very angry phone call. What the fuck is this baby in this dryer? It's fucking, it's dumb. It's not, why is he killing a baby? It doesn't make any sense. And so I'm taken aback because I took a note. And I go, but Lloyd, you said you gotta kill a kid in a dryer. And he goes, oh, I said it? Yeah, you said it. Well, maybe it's funny, I don't know. And then he left it entirely after that. Oh, well, maybe it's funny, I don't know. I didn't. And it was everything else other than the baby. But yeah, no, work with Troma. I will always say, he tells me to tell people the truth. And he's like, you make it sound too nice. You make it, we're terrible, it's horrible, they're gonna hate it. Work with Troma. Work with Troma. They're tremendous people. Yeah.
Culture.
Not so much of a question, but a comment. This was, okay, so we all have jobs, and it's kind of hard to work with your partner, you know. I like this guy. He's cool. He's all right.
I'm awesome.
He's all right. Oh, no!
Oh, thank you for fixing that. It's sorry, just logo stuff.
Come on. Okay.
Still not? Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Thank you. Good eyes.
I'm sorry, as I was saying, we all
I
have
definitely
jobs.
don't recognize that. And thank you.
And
Good call.
George, when everything is said and done, when all the selections are made, George does he kind of starts condensing and matching up things.
All that solid programming that everyone
Solid
enjoys.
programming. And when he did this, I'm like, that is going to be a fucking wild walk. That is going to be so good.
That's how you end a Saturday.
Well, here's the thing. The special effects galore in all of this was great. And the comedy aspect. Like, nothing would piss me off more that if I'm being tortured, this person is talking to me and singing and getting his tools ready and all of this nonsense. I would be so pissed off, so angry, and it just worked. And when he did this block together, I'm like, this is so much fun. I'm like, whoever watches this block is gonna have so much fun, and this was a fun block. I love the comedy aspect, and I love, even though you're taking the torture, the special effects, the comedy, it was just great. Dungeon of Death was so much fun.
Thank you.
Weredeer was so much fun.
Thank you.
So George, thank you, and you too. Oh, I'm sorry, you too.
I didn't do anything. I just
Thank
wanted
you
to. I just
for
wanted
like
to begin.
making such a fun block that is super cool with the effects, the comedy. It just worked. When people try to do comedy, it doesn't always work, but it worked, and it was fun. So thank you for that.
I love your Lord impersonation, by the
It
way.
is great.
Because he nailed it. He nailed it. I tried
25
it.
years in, fuck. It's baby.
I thought it was really cool that it started out being like, oh no, like a girl got taken advantage of and is missing, and then the roles were totally flipped, and it was like the lady's in control, and it's like, let's fuck some people up. So how did you get like that idea, I guess, of like, oh let's tease the audience, start off with this, and then let's like do a kick-ass woman in the end. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, you're right. It's you think it's a story about Raullin and Victor, but it is really all about Lady Minerva. It is her story, and she holds the control over the whole thing the whole time. So it all started out with our Dungeon of Death photo op. We are special effects artists. We do conventions. We have a photo op where people can. It's the dungeon walls, and they can pose in a table as a.
We have a vertical table instead
Yes.
of laying down, so you get right in. It looks-
Bring it! Please!
It's hard to take on an airplane.
Next time. We'll do that next time. So that's how it started out. And then we thought we should make a movie about this photo op. We have it sitting, it's a perfect set. But now I have to come up with a story. And how is it possible that this guy who's completely flayed open and taken apart is still alive? Like, okay, well, he has to be immortal then of some sort. And after I had decided that, all the pieces just started falling together, and I decided that obviously they're vampires, and obviously she's just hanging there in the corner. She's just keeping an eye on things as a little bat and being unnoticed, and I don't know, it just made sense in my weird, twisted head.
It's very subtle. If you watch it a second time, the part where Victor says about getting his pants taken off, in any other situation, and he looks up and he's actually looking up at Minerva, I'd be okay with that. But you think he's breaking the fourth wall, but he's not. He's actually looking at Minerva, which when you watch it a second time, everything starts to make sense. And what I loved about this is that vampires are usually the ruthless kind of, evil members of the movie. And in this one, it's Victor, who he could be hundreds of years old, but he's met Lady Minerva and he'll do anything for her. And he'll let himself be disemboweled so she has a good time. Yeah. So I kind of like that little twist that.
Actually, both films are love stories.
100% yes.
There's a lot of love in your movie. I don't know.
Love everywhere.
Maybe too much love in some spaces. But
Yeah, I thought you had a two-part
Gallons
to that,
of
or
love.
For your film, like, I was a dancer, I love the dancing community and dancing culture, but it seems to be hard to find actors willing to expose themselves.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, like, finding actors that are comfortable with that?
Pay them. So.
money.
Well, so that's part of it, like literally. So, and maybe this sort of shatters a level of like Troma mystique or whatever. But I'm a very big advocate for like, if it's going to exist forever on a thing, and you're willing to do this for us, you should have a level of compensation. So there's number one. Number two. The two ladies the three in that scene, Renee, Jessa, and Alice, they all read it And what sold them on it was the line of the whole, my stripper is super hot. My stripper is also super hot. That is true. They're both beautiful, talented women who deserve both our money and our respect. That's the thing that sold them. That literally, like I sent pages, I'm like, it's going to be 2 nights tops. This is what we're doing. Read it. Let me know what you think. And they said, I saw that in there, and it sold them. It sold them. I'm hoping that lasts for the next one. Small, very small.
I always get in trouble for this question.
Yes, you do. When I wrote this script and I showed it to Brian, he's like, "Oh yeah, we can shoot this for a low budget."
So yeah, we thought, okay, maybe $3,000, but
No.
then I'm kind of a stickler. This day and age, I don't expect anybody to work for free. Everybody gets paid who's on set and all that. Everybody's fed well, and the budget just kept climbing. And all of a sudden, I'm on set and there's 16 people there. I'm like, why are there 16 people on this one room set with 3 actors? But everybody's getting paid, everybody's getting fed. And all said and done, I don't know.
And then the VFX happened.
Oh, that's right. Originally, we can't have big open flames on set, obviously, in our little set. So originally in the script, it was 2 establishing shots showing the torches in the background. Everything else is going to be cleverly framed so that you don't see any torches. Then the DOP comes in and he brings a jib, which is like a little armed thing. And every shot's got movement and every shot's doing stuff. And almost every shot's got torches in it. So it went from 2 visual effects shots where we had to replace torches to 35 visual effects shots that we had to pay for to put torches in. And if it's done well, nobody realizes we spent all that money putting torches in and stuff. And then obviously the bats at the end are CG. And there was one shot where, we don't know how it happened, but to moisten things stuff, we had a little spray bottle. It was this white spray bottle. Somehow it got left on the table. And the scene at the end where they're breaking the chains off, Minerva goes over and she opens up the shackles, and right next to her is this big white spray bottle. None of the 16 people on set saw this. We're editing.
Not even the actors.
We edited, and you go through editing. The 3rd day of editing, my editor and I we'd seen the scene like a dozen times, and all of a sudden we both go, and that's when we saw that there was this big white bottle sitting there on the, kind of like the coffee cup in Game of Thrones thing. So to have it painted out would have meant, like our digital effects people said, we have to rotoscope everything, we have to track everything. Instead, she sampled a chunk of his flesh and put it in front of the bottle. And just tracked that, and she solved it in minutes, basically, and saved us a ton of money with that shot.
Crafty.
And I said, you're a genius. So next time you watch it, you're not even going to notice, because it's just a little chunk of flesh down by his ankle. And it used to be this big white spray bottle that was sitting there. So.
Ours was I think 38,000 all told. However, we didn't pay everybody. I wouldn't say we went that far. And then we also, it was a labor of love for a bunch of us. And then we worked every possible deal we could. The lens kit that we got for 3 weeks. We shot 24 days, pretty much straight through. We took 1 day off a week. And the guy gave us 1 day a week rentals on the lens kit. So he cut us a massive deal. So we paid for 3 days out of 24. I worked at a grip shop. They cut us a huge deal. Like we pulled everything that we could pull to do it for as little as possible. So yeah, very good. Yeah, no, and that's why I'm content to live with how much is fucked up in that movie. But like, it's why. And again, it got to a point. So you talk post, and you're going through, and you want to eliminate a bunch of those blobs. There was more shit that we wanted to add in there, and I got talking to our editor and our VFX guy, and he was like, "Look, I can do it, but it's going to take another month. You say you've got a screening coming up now. I'm gonna need X amount," and I was like, "That's great, man. Movie's done." And then It's over. It's wonderful. It looks beautiful. Those would have been nice to haves. This is not a have to have. So yeah, we worked with what we had and we made concessions, like a lot of them. Yeah.
Right. And as far as Dungeon of Death, your production design, how did you? It really looked like it was really smoky in there, and the walls. What did you guys use to put that together, that set?
We do have a dungeon set, as Des mentioned. We have a photo op. So we had, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years beforehand, we actually built the set. It took us a few weeks to do it, but it's a set that we bring to conventions and stuff to do that photo op where you look like you're being disemboweled. And it was sitting in a storage room in between. We use it maybe twice a year at a convention, but still paying for the storage unit all year long. So.
Yeah, it's all made out of plywood, styrofoam that's been carved
Sculpted
and then coated,
Stone-coated?
and then painted with probably like 10 layers of different shades of paint. Yeah, and other than that, it was the DOP's artful lighting skills to make it look that good.
Nice. Any other questions? So I'd also want to make sure everyone knows if they wanted to find you on as far as social medias, follow any projects that you have coming down the pipe. Would you like to plug those?
We're on Facebook and Instagram at Locked in the Cellar. That's our production, our effects company. That's where you'll see what we're working on, if
Everything that
we're
we're
allowed to post what we're working
I
on,
love
because
it.
9 out of 10 times, whatever we're working on involves a big plot twist, someone dying. So unfortunately, we can't post the good stuff until, a year or 2 years or 3 years later when the movie's out. But we try to keep things interesting on there.
And then I'm yarn_Yeti on Instagram, or shit.house.productions on Instagram as well.
Say that one more time.
Shit.house.productions, or yarn_Yeti if you want to see my knitting.
I can't thank you guys so much just for sharing these deprived delights for us to enjoy. So thank you so much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
us. Like, seriously, this has been delightful. Thank you.
And these are both award winners. These two groups. These films are both
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our Saturday night. Thank you so much. We've had a blast.
And make sure you guys step onto the red carpet so we can take some pics.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you guys for being